All right.
Are the little
we're live.
Okay. You want to just do this?
Yep.
All right. Here's the theme music. Bump, ba da ba da ba bump, ba da ba. Not really. Okay, here we go. This is hard to do without the music. Okay. What's that face for?
I don't know.
All right, here we go. Hey, hi, hello, and almost Merry Christmas. So happy to have you here with us on the Radio Tech Guys podcast. This is episode 15. Is that right?
Hard to believe.
It is very hard to believe. What are we ever going to stop saying that, or is it always just going to be hard to believe?
It will forever be shocking that we're still doing this.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, this is well, we just said it. It's the Radio Tech Guys podcast, and we are very happy to have you here with us. This will be a special episode. As promised previously, we're going to talk about some Christmas gifts for your engineer buddies, and you better act quickly because you only have a few days left, but that's okay. We're also going to talk about some more wireless radio infrastructure fun goodness that is sure to amaze and impress. But first of all, I am Alex Linger, and 22 miles now. I think it's getting longer. Away from me to the north is Chris Moran. How are you, buddy?
I'm well, sir. And you?
I am good. It's been a whirlwind of a day and a whirlwind of a weekend, really. It's we're gearing up for the Christmas holiday, and that is fun and stressful. How about you?
Yep. Still working on our new studio space, which in fact probably for the next episode will be in that for the recording of this. So I've been cutting wood and staining countertops and getting all that stuff ready to go. Got some wireless links up. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And a funny story to go along with how these projects never go to plan. A pseudo link now between our house and our downtown studio space, which is super cool and going to save a bunch of money.
I had the pleasure of helping you run some cable. That was an adventure.
Yeah, old buildings and like it's good times.
It's always a maze. Hey, okay, let's see. How can people get a hold of us? We should start with that. Well, as always, you can email us. You can email us at ask@theradiotechguys.com. That is all you can do unless you're on social media. Chris?
Right, in which case you definitely want to check us out on Facebook. Like our page there, just search for the Radio Tech Guys, or on Twitter. You can also find us without the word "the." It's just Radio Tech Guys on Twitter. New year, we need a resolution to be more active in that as we go. But we did actually.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a busy week. It's been a very busy week. So we're excited to be here Christmas week, and we're going to talk about some gifts.
I'm going to side,
not gifts like animated images. GIF or GIFs, but
some would call them GIFs, right. Gift with the Z. I'm going to sidebar real quick. How many of you that listen to this podcast self-managed exchange? Does anybody do that anymore? Or has everybody moved on to Office 365 or Google or something like that? We still do in-house exchange. And every time we run into problems with it, I ask myself why. We actually just upgraded. What was that? 2 years ago?
Yep.
Has it been 2 years now? We upgraded from what were we on? 2003. I think that's right. And we went all the way to 2013.
That was an adventure.
Holy cow! And okay, so I should point out, maybe this is really stupid of us. I don't know. We've been called stupid for this. But Chris and I did the thing like by ourselves, reading guides on the internet. Which hey, the guides are really good. But boy, Exchange is just it's a disaster. It's a train wreck. It's a horrible thing to install and maintain. So I bring that up because we're in the middle of a certificate crisis. We're trying to renew our certificate, and we did, and something is not working right with it. But
it's and I'm not sure why, because I thought I did everything right. I followed the instructions from GeoTrust, who issues our certificates. Like, I installed it and I did the things, but there's a section, well, inside talk, that you should look at later, because technically I'm on vacation. You should look and see. There's a section about binding it to the SSL server instance on your Internet Information Server. I don't think I bound it correctly.
Oh, okay. It's funny. So as we're recording this, I'm getting texts from people that we work with sending me pictures of the certificate screen.
Hey boy.
That's all right. We'll deal with that. Always an adventure. You know what I'm going to blame here? I'm going to blame the Microsoft software. But anyway,
sure.
Neither here nor there. Hey, let's jump in. Let's kick this whole thing off with some gift ideas. We all have engineer friends, and we all have techie friends, and maybe like them enough to get them a Christmas gift. If you do, we're going to give you a few suggestions. I will tell you, nothing is scientific about this. These are a couple things that I own, a couple things that I just stumbled upon. Whatever. Maybe you'll like one of them.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right, let's start. Oh, what did I just do? Okay. Wow. Safari did something weird. Okay, here's one. So we've talked ad nauseum the Platinum Tools Easy RJ45 ends and crimp tool. Well, there is a whole kit from Platinum Tools that comes with the crimper and the cable stripper and the cable scissors and some ends, and it comes in a nice zipper case. That's a great way to pass that to a friend, and it's not super cheap. Runs about $132. For some reason, you can get it at B&H Photo, whatever. But it's about $132 there. I'm sure the price varies, but that would be a nice thing to gift to a buddy or yourself. Let's see. Moving right along. Okay, how about this? This is something that everybody probably already has, but you can't have too many of them, in my opinion. How about a good old-fashioned flash drive? But let's make it a bigger one. How about a 1 terabyte flash drive? Let's add something to that. Are you ready? How was that sales skill? That was pretty good. Maybe not. Anyway, so this is weird. This is a dual connector flash drive. Okay, so it has, on one end, it has the normal, what is that, Type A USB connector. On the other end, it has a micro USB connector, so you can use it with your Android phone.
Oh yeah, it's like a key. It looks like a keychain, right?
Yeah. So it's got a connector on each end.
Yeah.
Super cool. Now listen. Okay, I'm going to read you some funny things. This is totally Chinese made and Chinese sold. So be purchased with caution. I've actually found it on Newegg, which is, it's a reputable site. It's only $25 for this 1 terabyte dual connector flash drive, which I think is cool. I got to read some of the description. Okay, all the normal stuff, USB interface, plug and play, hot swappable. I would hope so. It works with various PC and compatible computers such as Macintosh, PowerBook, iMac, and iBook. So, if you're still living in the Stone Ages.
So have an iBook laying around? Yeah.
Hey, this is even cooler. For $25, it is earthquake proof and anti-electromagnetic wave.
Wow.
That's all it says. It doesn't say that it just says that it's
anti. It would be good at an EMP attack.
I guess so. I find that hard to believe. How about this? It has a maximum read-write speed. I hope this is wrong. Of 8 megabits per second.
Well, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work.
I hope that's a typo. But hey, it's only $25 and it's a terabyte. And you can find it at Newegg. Okay, whatever. Awesome. Throw that one away. Okay, here's a couple fun things. Oh, did you want to say something?
I was say I think a good gift for anybody is a drone.
Well, yeah. Can you suggest a cheap
/ good
friendly
one?
priced drone?
Well, yeah. Here's what I think. Here's what I think would be good. Let me see how much they are. So the old
there are some uses in the engineering world for these.
There are. I mean, not legally anymore.
Well,
I mean,
you know, if it's for your own personal,
if it's for your own personal fun, if you're using it as just for fun, I like. There's the older DJI Phantoms now were on sale recently.
How much on sale?
Well, I'm trying to find it. Let's see. Yeah, how about this? The Phantom 3 standard, which is now, now there's Phantom 4 and there's Phantom 4 Professional that came out plus the Mavic.
Yeah.
The Phantom 3 standard is now just $399.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is
wow,
incredible for what it is.
Now, so that one does not have any kind of onboard camera, right?
It does have an onboard camera.
Does it really?
Yes. It's the full rig. It's an onboard camera. It comes with battery and controller. You use your device as the monitor that goes, onto the controller, but it has a
wow.
Yeah, look it up. Anyway, the Phantom 3 is on sale, $399. Here's one if you just want a toy. Parrot makes drones and mini drones. I mean, like teeny little things, and some slightly bigger ones. They're all just still really just fun drones, but it's just Parrot, PARROT.com.
You bring up a good point. Maybe you shouldn't get your engineer buddies tools for work. Maybe you should get them toys.
Yeah.
Like, go do something other than engineering for like 10 minutes. It's fine.
I agree. So go buy a drone. Why not?
Go buy a drone. That's a great idea. And while you fly your drone, you can wear one of these t-shirts that I'm about to tell you about. One of my favorite sites has some of the coolest stuff for us geeky folk is thinkgeek.com. And they have some great, they have t-shirts and mugs and all kinds of fun stuff. But two t-shirts that I really like. One of them, I actually have the mug here. For some reason, it has baseballs in it. It's a mug that simply says, "No, I will not fix your computer." I like that one. They have a t-shirt in that. One of my other favorite t-shirts they have, so geeky. It says, "There's no place like 127.0.0.1."
Like home.
Not even going to explain that because you should know.
I saw a bumper sticker today online while I was looking for some stuff that said it was for radio engineers. That said, "Get off my bumper. I've dealt with enough static today."
I like that. I like that a lot. All right, I have one more. Unless Chris, do you have one before this?
No.
Oh,
I'm out.
Okay, sorry. All right, here's a simple one. I actually have this too. So this is from Weller, the friends that make soldering irons and other hot things. This is a battery-powered soldering iron. That's not earth-breaking, earth-shattering. Lots of people make those, but this one's really cool. So it takes, I think it's like 4 AA batteries, heats up in 15 seconds, and I can vouch for that. It absolutely does, and it gets hot, very hot. Has a little LED on the end. See, there, so you can see what you're doing. And the whole thing is $16.
60?
16.
16?
Yeah. Battery powered sonar. So, I mean, even if the batteries only last for, a few, actually, I think it tells you. Oh, well, not on this page, but it has a fairly, respectable battery life for doing little solder jobs. But what a great thing. Throw that in your bag, have it in the car with you. Great for field repairs.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah,
that's
man.
Cool. We
need one for the TV truck.
Oh, we can't fit anything else in that TV truck.
It's true.
So there's a couple gift ideas. Go get your best engineer buddy friend a nice gift for Christmas. Maybe they'll get you one too.
So we mentioned a little bit last week. I've been working on a project building this. Not building. We leased some space downtown, like an 850 square foot space that we're gonna share with a photographer, my wife and I, and our video production company. And we were trying to get it connected to our house. The idea was that our networks would be connected, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And so I had this idea that we're very close, very, very close. I mean, as in terms of mileage, like in a straight line between us and the building, it's like 0.4 of a mile. I mean, it's just right next door. But I did a lot of research using some software from Cambium, of all people, their link planner software, which is free to use, which is awesome.
It's been so useful.
Oh, we use it,
and
all
we've
the
only
time.
bought like, I don't know, a handful of Cambium products.
Yeah, like 6 links or something, but whatever. Someday we'll again. But
it's planned a lot of links for us.
Planned a lot. So I've been looking around for ways to make this happen, and we finally landed on. I was going to have an intercity relay because there was no way from my house rooftop or deck rooftop that I was going to be able to see anywhere in the roof of our building. We're just a single story building, but we're going to put the antenna up on our neighboring building of our office, which is 4 stories tall. And so the plan was, we found there's a local radio operation here in town, and they have a big AM and FM tower on the top of a hill in Fairmont. Whoops. But they also have slightly down the hill from that, there's an STL, a smaller, like 30-foot Roan STL tower. And so after all the mapping was done, we settled on Ubiquity hardware. They're little teeny what are they?
Nano beam,
Nano
right?
beam, yeah. They're little nano beam 5 gigahertz radios. They look like, I mean, they're like the size of an outdoor floodlight round. I mean, they're just very, very small.
Or as I said last week, a Pizza Hut personal pan pizza.
Or a slightly smaller than a personal pan pizza for Pizza Hut. But they're super cool. They cost me $80 an end. And they're just 802.11 AC radios, basically, but in a very directionalized fashion. Well, anyway, the idea was that
we did determine that they could only connect to each other, right? They're not just like access points.
So that's right.
True?
I mean, they work with any of the Air Max line. So the way that Ubiquity works their stuff is like, you can have this. They can operate as point-to-point radios, or they can be point-to-multi-point, where like you can set them up so that multiple other Air Max series products from Ubiquity can connect to them. And there's different reasons you use different ones in other places or whatever, but they have to have similar characteristics. Like they have to be in this Air Max series, obviously.
And that must mean that the beam is fairly wide, correct?
Well,
if it's point to multi-point.
I will tell you that it is. And so some of their radios are more wide beam than others. Like the Nano Beam AC that we got, they have some other ones that are much tighter even than that. There's like the Power Beam series. Mm-hmm. And the Power Beam AC ISO, which has an isolated reflector with it, so it kind of blocks out some
that's cool,
some stuff around. So there's all kind of different ways to do it. But we went with the Nano Beam because of the shortness of the hops and whatever. And on paper, it was going to be beautiful. Plus, there's not a whole lot of 5 gig traffic in the area that we're doing it. And so the idea was, the way we mapped it was the building downtown and our house would each have a radio. We could see this little 30-foot Roan tower from both of these locations, and we were going to climb the tower about 10 feet off the ground and put these 2 radios. We were looking about 40 degrees, 45 degrees away from each other, house, office. It was perfect plot for both of them, line of sight. It was going to be fantastic. But when we got on site at the tower, we found that the conduit that existed was not going to be passable. It had fallen apart. It was blocked up. There was no way to run any additional cabling through that conduit. And so we called an audible, and we moved about, 40 feet downhill towards their studio building, where there was a really large satellite dish with a lot of apparatus on the back, a lot of threaded things and some of the adjustment pieces for this satellite dish. And we decided to mount our radios on the back of the satellite dish.
How'd that go?
Well, we were there with the station owner, and that was kind of his suggestion, and us not being able to get the cable in. So the one to our office building downtown was perfect. It was still clear line of sight, and so that link aligned in no time. That was super easy. Sadly, the link to our house, because it is mid-December and there are no leaves of any kind on any of the trees that we're shooting directly into, we have a extremely marginal link. Like, the throughput is terrible. It's like 20 megs or less, and it's been stable. We've had no packet loss even in the rain that we had, but it's the second that leaves start to appear, the link is gonna die. So we're looking into other options now. We got to figure out something by March, realistically, or the end of March to get off of there. But I have to tell you, I'm super impressed with these low-end Ubiquiti radios, just in terms of the ease of installation. They just use a pipe clamp and this little plastic mount on the back, and then it's a threaded ball. It's a ball basically with a threaded ring that you progressively tighten down. And so there's a bubble level on the back to get your azimuth, your left to right azimuth set. And then as you get it more in proximity where you want, you just continually tighten this ring down. But the web UI is what really blows my mind.
I agree.
In their new software release, there's so many analytics. There's spectrum analyzation. They build a second radio into these things too. I don't know if you read this. Like, it's not using the main transmit radio to do the spectrum
it's got one
analysis.
Just for spectrum analysis. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's got its own, so it doesn't. You can do all these things while the link is still in operation.
That's becoming very common today, even in commercial access points. Like the Meraki line all adds a second radio or third radio, depending on the line.
Yep.
Just for what they call air marshal, which checks for neighboring Wi-Fi and adjusts your own Wi-Fi accordingly. That's very cool. And I agree, the web UI on that was excellent, and they did it right. It's if you don't need all the extra stuff, it seems simple enough that anybody can kind of get it set up.
Exactly. Yes,
it has all the extras in there.
The configuration was super easy, and I've spent the last couple of days messing with it, trying to optimize. It has different channel widths. You can do in these point-to-point modes. You can do 20 megahertz, 40 megahertz, or 80 megahertz channel widths. So I could have left the one going from the radio station tower or satellite dish to my office at 80 megahertz. The link is plenty robust with a ton of throughput. But for me, what's the point? It's just making a loop at the radio station and then coming to my house where I'm only getting 10 to 20. And so I've reduced the channel widths on all of them to 20 megahertz, the smallest I can. The one to my house has to be that way to remain stable. The one to the office, there's no sense in having more bandwidth there that I can't use on the second half of the link. And so I was able to reduce the bandwidth to 20 megahertz and then power down the radio some. I don't have to use as much power, which helped me gain a dB or so of interference up at the transmitter location where they're both side by side. I was able to get back a little bit there, but really, I just wanted to say that I think there's great options for some of these lines. I think even in our industry where you have good line of sight. In fact, we got an email this week, didn't we? From
we did, yeah,
from somewhere. Somebody in Ohio, Jay in Ohio, was talking about they use some of that Air Max series, the power beam, to shoot them off from a television station a mile downtown. Haven't had a single issue in 2 years. They use it to control their E&G live receiver on the tallest building in Toledo. And they're getting 300 megabits per second and never see any dropouts. And that's at a mile in Toledo, Ohio.
That's awesome. How cool is that?
I mean, and that's their power beam line. That's still in the $120 range and end, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would assume. I say this every time. I just don't understand completely how Ubiquiti can do that. I mean, you look at any of their competitors, and their stuff is 2, 3, 4 times as expensive.
Yep.
But Ubiquiti does it cheaply and really well. Really well. In fact, even that's a good gift idea. I mean, you could have a pair of these nano beams that you put in. You could have a pair of them for $160 like I said, they're tiny. Put them in the back of your truck. Think of the possibilities. You lose an STL shot or something like that. I mean, that's a great backup solution.
If you're willing to shimmy up the tower a little bit.
Well, yeah, there's that. But there are still applications where use it at a remote or something like that. There's all kinds of things you can do with them. That's very cool.
Yep,
that's very cool. Do we have anything else to talk about?
Let's see. Buy drones, check. Ubiquity links, check. Christmas gift ideas, check.
Shoot. Should talk slower.
What else?
Well, this we knew this was going to be kind of a weird week. This was sort of our Christmas special, even though it's so before Christmas.
And not terribly special.
And not horribly special. But yeah, well, anyway. We do have some exciting stuff next week. We will have a podcast next week. It'll be after Christmas. But I know Chris is going to work on some stuff this week. I'll try to assist how I can. We mentioned the church production that gets turned into a 1-hour radio special that he'll be producing this week. And hopefully maybe you're going to do some videos.
Yeah, check this out. So here's the 1-minute version of what this thing is. We had to do some figuring. So what we're going to do, I'm going to actually go shoot some video content at dress rehearsal this Wednesday night. That's also when we're going to collect our initial multi-track audio recording at the church. So the show the program this year is really incredible. They're using 2 complete drum kits there's an opener that involves 2 drum kits, but they're also going to be used throughout. And what's crazy is that we've got to multi-track this in addition to everything else, and the 6 or 8 vocalists and all the band and the speaker and crowd mics and room mics. And so we've come up with some spreadsheets that at dress rehearsal we're tracking, and they have a limited channel count. The problem we have there is with their they have an Avid SC48 console, but they're using some of their Firewire IO for reverbs and stuff. And so we're down to I think 24 tracks to record at a time, and we really need 40 maybe to do it.
I mean, my gosh, you put 2 drum kits in and mic them correctly.
Oh yeah, we're already up to 18 channels of drums.
Exactly.
It's how do you do it? So, and they're both critical to the shows. But the cool thing about this church is that they play everything to click track and a lot of loops and stuff in there. And so what I'm able to do is create a spreadsheet where we're going to actually track different subsets of inputs at dress rehearsal and then opening night and then the next night, because I have to have this show mixed and ready to air on the radio before their last 2 performances on Christmas Eve. So anyway, we're tracking different subsets of instruments and vocalists and stuff throughout the 3 performances plus a rehearsal leading up to that, and then they're all getting cut up and combined into this radio show. And so my hope is to make a video, a series of videos behind the scenes at Chestnut Ridge when we go to do the tracking, so you can see how everything's hooked up there and how we're actually getting the tracks. I'm going to do an entire screen capture with a video inset of me and some audio overlays, plus you'll hear the mix in process. I mean, in my Pro Tools mix, from the second I import tracks to when it's finished. It's going to be a long screen capture video. I mean, nobody's going to watch the whole thing. Maybe you will. You can skim through it or get it later, whatever. It'll be 10 hours probably of content, 8 hours. But I wanted to capture it start to finish, from raw tracks to finished programs, because I think that'll be cool.
That'll be cool.
But anyway, we'll talk about a lot of that because it'll be over by the time we record our podcast for Christmas week. That'll be out, the Wednesday after Christmas. So we'll kind of recap all that and talk about how that all went.
I wonder if the church would allow us to use any of the audio bites to talk about.
I'm certain that they're going to, the entirety of it's going to be in the YouTube video. So
that's a good point.
I'm sure that they would without any problem.
That's cool. So that'll be fun. I think that'll be enjoyable for most of this audience, if not all. It's kind of outside of the radio realm, but it's still audio, and it's a different look at maybe some things you don't always get your hands on.
Exactly.
That'll be fun. Well, I think that wraps it up for this week. As always, email us. And thank you for those that have been emailing us. We greatly appreciate that. Sorry we don't always get a reply out to everybody, but I promise you we read everything, and we take it into account for future episodes.
Hey, and Merry Christmas to everybody that's been listening through the start of this thing. The new year typically is an energizing time, at least for me, and I hope to get on the stick a little bit more. We started out really strong with not just the podcast, but also video content, and we've kind of got away from that, and I'm really hoping in the new year to be able to start producing more.
I completely agree.
It's been fun. There's a lot to talk about. I mean, this is an exciting time in our industry, I think. And there's a lot that's happening, and I just think it's going to be a good year. 2017 is going to be a lot of fun.
I completely agree with that. And Chris and I both have some personal vacations coming up, so maybe we will get re-energized and we'll be a little better at this, I promise. All right, folks, thank you for listening. Email us at ask@theradiotechguys.com. Find us on Twitter at Radio Tech Guys. Facebook at facebook.com/theradiotechguys. You can search for us on YouTube. We would ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search for the Radio Tech Guys. And also, please subscribe to the podcast. You can do that at iTunes and Stitcher and the Google Play Store and all those other avenues. So, thank you. Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.